So we are now on set 2. So you have just now realized there are ratios with right triangles of sine, cosine, and tangent. Our next step is to put them in the calculator. So looking at the calculator, there are specific buttons that say sine, cosine, and tangent. If you're doing this on the iPad, it is also there as sine, cosine, and tangent. On the iPad, there is a button that will say degree and radian. You need to be in degree, okay? So what's gonna happen is when you press that button on your iPad, it should say the opposite of what you want. So when you press it and it says radian, it goes to degree, okay? So make sure you're doing that correctly. You need to be in degrees. So what you're doing here is you're putting in exactly what it says. So on A, all you have to do is go to sine, and then you're going to plug in 72. Once you've plugged in sine 72, you press enter, and you're going to get a bunch of decimals. So what this is saying is these are approximations, and I would like you to make sure you go to at least 3. So this one is approximately 0.951. This is all you have to do with this one. You're plugging it in your calculator for either sine, cosine, or tangent. Once again, so we can clear it out, you go to the cosine button, and we're gonna plug in 113. You press enter, and you're gonna see that it is negative 0.391. It is okay to have negatives. We'll talk about those later. And then our last one of tangent, which is right next to the cosine. So tangent of 46.5. And we press enter. And there you go. You get 1.054. So what we're doing here is we're now solving for actual variables. So we're seeing that we can plug them into your calculator. Your iPad does it, and if you have a TI-30, and if you have a bigger one as well, I know a few of you do. For those of you who have the larger one, you still have the buttons sine, cosine, and tangent right there on your calculator. So we're learning calculators. Plugging and chugging. Okay? So now we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of it, where we're solving up for specific variables. As you can see on A, we have cosine of 75 equals x over 5. So what that's saying is, again, cosine is ca. So we're looking for the adjacent side of a triangle. That's all you're doing. These are just proportions. This is the same thing as saying over 1, and we can cross multiply. This is all we're doing. So cross multiplication, I like to put the variable first on this side, so x times 1, so we get 1x, equal, when you're multiplying a trig ratio, it is much easier to put the oh my goodness, the 5 in front of the cosine, sine, or tangent. It's easier to plug this into your calculator. So once you've done that, all we did was we multiplied across. We said x times 1 is x, 5 times cosine of 75. You plug it into your calculator. Again, it's so much easier to say 5 cosine of 75. You plug that right in there, just so it looks like that. You press enter. So you're going to get that x is approximately 1.294. Okay? Make sure you do those. If you decide to do cosine of 75 times 5, you have to put the 75 in parentheses and make sure they are closed. If not, it'll do the multiplication, then cosine. Be careful of what you're doing. If you are doing, it on your iPad is really tricky on multiplication, specifically when we get to division. So I highly suggest you have one of these or a TI on your iPad. So moving on to B. Same process. This sine of 39 is still over 1. We can cross multiply. We're going to see 1 times x, so we get x is equal to 7, because again, plugging it in correctly here first, sine of 39. So all I I did was say 7 times sine of 39. I will plug this directly into my calculator, and it should be 4.405. I highly suggest using one of these calculators for these. I know that your iPad does it, but sometimes it's a little tricky. Moving on to C. Our variable is now in the denominator. Same process, we're gonna make it look a little bit different. It is still over 1, we cross multiply. Remember how I said I like variables over on this side, so we're gonna take y times the tangent of 27, and it's gonna equal 6, because 6 times 1. So now we can see that all we have to do to get y by itself is we're gonna divide by the tangent of 27. So we're gonna get y equal to 6 divided by tangent of 27. This is where it gets tricky in your iPad. I highly suggest you use this calculator. So we're gonna take 6 and we're gonna divide by the tangent of 27. Make sure you go 6 divided by tangent of 27, and you're going to approximately get 11.776, okay? Again, highly suggest you use this calculator, please. Okay, well, D is the same process. We see that it is still over 1. We cross multiply. I like my variables on this side of my equation. So y times the cosine of 19 is equal to 1 times 14. And I need to get y by itself. So we're going to divide by cosine of 19. We get y equal to 14 over cosine of 19. We're going to plug that into our calculator, and we're going to see that this becomes 14.807. Again, if you have any questions, please make sure you come to my Zoom meeting and or email me. I do not want you to fail, but you have to also come and see me. Please and thank you. So we're gonna do E, F, and G, and then it is your turn, where I'm gonna make you try and do them yourself. I'll still do them, but I want you to attempt them for yourself. So looking at these ones aren't specifically telling us what to do. So we need to figure out which trigonometric ratio we're gonna use. So we need to remember our SO, our CA, and our TOA. To determine which one we're going to use, we look at the degree that's given to us other than the 90 degree. So we've been given 37. This is the angle we're going to be looking at. Because we're looking at this angle, we need to see what's been given to us. So here I have 11, which is adjacent. It's touching that. So this is adjacent. And then our x is our hypotenuse because it's opposite over here. So we have A and H. So we go to SO, CA, or TOA, and we see that AH is CA. So that means we're doing cosine of this degree, which is equal to adjacent over x. And we've just set it up just like the last ones. So we're gonna cross multiply, because again it's over 1. We're gonna see x times cosine of 37 is equal to 11. We divide by cosine of 37, and we're gonna get approximately 13.77, okay? So this one you're just setting up on your own. It is okay. So we're looking now at F. Our angle here is angle A, and we need to look at what's been given to us. So this again has right next to our angle, so this is adjacent. And then we have something that is opposite of our angle, so O. We have O and A. Going back over here, the only one with O and A is tangent. So we have tangent of 32, which is O up, opposite x, over adjacent 13. We are going to cross multiply, so we're going to get x equal to, since this is no longer a variable, 13 times tangent of 32. You're going to plug that right into your calculator and get 8.123. If you are not getting these, as a quick reminder, make sure you are in degrees. Sometimes radians does come up every now and then. You can change that. All right. Our last one before it is your turn, we're going to see that our angle we are looking at is angle B of 37. We have our longest side opposite of the 90, so our hypotenuse, and the side opposite of the angle we're looking at is opposite. Going back over here, we have SOHCAHTOA and TOA. So, SOHCAHTOA and TOA. That means we are going to be looking at side of 37, which is opposite over hypotenuse. So now that we have that, we have set up our proportion, and we are going to solve by cross multiplication. So x times 1 is x, which is going to equal 10.3 times sine of 37, which means x is approximately 6.19 and 9. Okay. All right, I am going to end part 2 here. Part 3 is going to be just your turn. So if you want to try and do these on your own and then look at the answers at the end, please do so. I will see you in part 2.